Rob Hatter, you are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro, let's get it. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Claude Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop.
Welcome to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Jim Hicks, on this baby Friday. I know you guys are shocked. You're like, what the hell? No, I don't look like Robert Hatter. Don't look like it. I ain't fit to preach. We ain't going to church today. We're going to have some fun and go around the lap, and you know how it goes when I'm hosting the ones and twos. We're going to open the phone lines up. So we're going to get a chance to freelance it, get some stuff off your chest, share some thoughts on what's NBA, Major League Baseball, football, name, image, likeness, recruiting. Everything goes on Baby Friday. Once again, guys, just tuning in. I'm going to ask you right now if you would share the show to your timelines, to your groups, to your pages. I see you out there, and thank you, Belinda. I see you, Belinda McDaniel. Hey, BMJ, that's your nickname to us on the chat. That's 2 minute syllables. How are you doing, Miss Lady? And we hope everything is going well for you guys on this Baby Friday. Let's keep this energy going. Let's get the shares up out there. Share the show if you would right now. I'm just telling you, let's get the shares going. I'm sharing this thing myself. Everybody's pulling on up. Get you some good spots. Get some good parking spots. Let's get this thing popping. And, of course, we have, first and foremost, I want to say, acknowledge our starting five. Jeremy Davis, I see you. Simeon Sims, I see you. Thaddeus Moody, Corey Willis, and of course, last but certainly not least, Chris Charles is in the building. That's our starting five for the day, as we do every day on the Chop Shop. Acknowledge the first 5 viewers who slide into the Boom Boom Room, and that's what we so graciously and appreciatively call the 2 platforms of interactions, where people from all over the world are engaging and interacting with not only the Chop Shop, but each other live in real time. You don't get that every day. And it's almost like a form of cheers. This is during the lunch hours in many parts of the United States. And we get it in, we chop it up about various topics, and we push forward, push through while enlightening, educating, in some forms entertaining each other. So, but I want to acknowledge from yesterday the life enhancement services and that whole establishment. They're based off the East Coast, but they have a business, they have a location that they recently started in Houston, mental health. And if you remember, if any of you guys who had the magazine from this past year, this is their logo. I mean, it's their ad, front cover of the magazine, right? LES, Life Enhancement Services, right? That's the logo right there. And what they did was they invested, of course, they deal with all this stuff you see on here, especially dealing with grown folk and youth. Well, the reason I'm acknowledging LES and is because they went, and they're not from Houston, they went and invested in the establishment of in a form of a random act of kindness, and put up the resources to have a classroom built on the campus of C.E. King Middle School in Sheldon ISD. It's a predominantly minority school. Now, once upon a time, C.E. King, I'm not sure if you can even go to that school if you were black back in the day. But this school, they have a classroom that LES put together to whereas, and of course they went through the Random Act of Kindness, the Houston Random Act of Kindness Foundation, which is David and Trevia Dennis. And they helped with the construction part of it. These young people now have a classroom that's filled with goodies, filled with sneakers, Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, flip-flops, backpacks, shirts. This room also has a TikTok room in there, along with a PlayStation, the video game room. And it's called, they name this room, nickname it Rack City, Random Act of Kindness City. And the kids get points in the classroom as throughout a period of time. And if you earn enough points, you can kind of like hotel points, kind of like frequent flyer miles, you can cash out some of your points for smaller items or for larger items. Each item will have a certain plateau, I would assume. Now, what's great about this is that these items doesn't cost anything. They can get good points. Every teacher in the school, just imagine if you had a big Google document or a big Google sheet, and every teacher with every kid's name. And if a teacher see you coming down the classroom and you're walking on the right side of the classroom, of the hallway, and your shirt is tucked inside and you're not talking, well, and that teacher notice you and you're cordial, that teacher might give you 5 points. That'll go into that Google Doc, and then everybody has the ability to add or give points to different students. That's cool. Now, it's going to make, by default, some of these young people be more engaging and be more cordial of those teachers. Now I'm not sure if they can deduct or points from them, but I know you can get them. So this is what's going on. And that's Sheldon ISD. Where Sandra, my wife, she actually, that was her vision, to get a rack room in her school. And it was a vision to get it done this school term. Today is the last day of school. They actually got it done in time, which is cool. I'm telling you, absolutely cool. I had pictures, video from yesterday, and I forgot to even test to see, you know, if it will work. But I think, you know, in a minute, I'll probably sweep and get some of the pictures and see if let me see something. If I can, I'm just gonna try something. And just hold tight. I'm just curious, because I give them, I can let Hannah take the, I'll let them put him up there on Monday. We'll get on top of it. But anyway, that's a cool thing. Give a shout out to them. Now, basketball playoffs resume tonight. Boston is hosting the Miami Heat. This is game 5. And I'm telling you, they have a chance to keep their postseason alive. Or they have, and Miami has a chance to close this thing out. All eyes will probably be on this game tonight. 7:30 tip off. And Tyler Hero has been cleared by the team physicians. At the same time, Kyle Lowry is dinged up, and he's a tough guy. He's from up out of Philly. I remember Kyle Lowry. He's not for the sit down. If he can go, he's gonna go, and I'm expecting him to suit up. But normally, whenever a player comes back, it could disrupt the flow. But at the same time, you can't disrupt what wasn't even there in game 4 for Miami. Now, Tyler Hero gives Miami a whole different degree of perimeter speed and precision from out there. We'll see. And if he plays tonight, but you're talking, you know, I mean, it's going to be a real intriguing game tonight, to say the least. Real intriguing. And I'm looking at Tyler Hero this postseason. You know, he hadn't played much at all, only played one game. But in that one game, he hit 2 of his 4 3-point attempts. So he comes back up in this thing. It gives them, you gotta realize, man, Miami Heat was up 3-0 on Boston, despite no Tyler Hero and no Victor Oladipo. Despite not even having them. So this is going to be interesting. What I'm looking at, see Doug Jones up in there. He done pulled up in there. Herb Baker done pulled up in the boom boom room. Mr. Kyles, what's going on? I see you up in the boom boom room. Eric Harrison done pulled up in the boom boom room. Dale Griggs, Mindy Collins, Todd Biley, Mate. What's going on, mama? And question is, and like I said, we're going to keep this thing popping. I need you guys to to help me keep this thing popping on Baby Friday. Keep the questions going. Let's keep the energy going so we can make this thing smooth. I'm still pecking right now in this. That is Moody said, do you think Tyler Hero will be in NBA basketball shape? Of course not. But what would Miami actually need from Tyler Hero? You're on the road. You need him to just be able to catch and shoot and make. Catch, shoot, make. Out the gates. Now, defensive part, they don't really need him to play a lot of minutes. That's the good thing about it. They won't need Tyler Hero to play a lot of minutes. They won't need him. I mean, they've done good without you. So it's going to be real intriguing, really interesting. Remember, I mean, this. I can't wait for this one tonight. Jimmy Butler has been doing Jimmy Butler things, even in the loss. Who's going to be the guys that step up, right? Who's going to be those two guys that's going to go beyond the call of duty for the Miami Heat? They can close this thing out. Now, at the same time, question for you guys is, do you think which team would you prefer has the better chance with Denver? Will it be Boston? Will it be Miami? Who has the better chance with them? And you know what's so crazy? You used to be able to go and look at the matchups during the regular season, and you can tell, oh man, this team beat this team. They swept them this season. Now with load management, it's hardly ever that both teams are going to be playing with everybody nowadays in the regular season. So that's unfortunate, but that's the time we live in. So before you go looking this stuff up and saying who beat who, be careful. Don't make yourself look. Don't turn into one of those guys. And of course, Mate says the Irish luck had run out. Let's go, Jimmy Buckets. I'm gonna tell y'all, Jimmy Butler. I remember I watched a recent interview with him on one of the shows, and he mentioned that, I'm paraphrasing, that nobody, one of the things that keeps him fueled up is knowing how many people every step along the way doubt him. And so as they doubted him, then he taps into that, and that's what pushes him through. Well, for those of y'all that didn't know, Jimmy Butler played at Tomball High School. Jimmy Butler played grassroots basketball for John Urey with the Houston Superstars. Jimmy Butler, on that last lap around summer basketball track, Jimmy Butler was the best prospect on the Houston Superstars 17U team. This was the summer of 2003. I think that Jimmy Butler came out in 04. Right? So he wasn't nationally touted. At that time, Tomball didn't normally play many urban schools on a regular, in abundance, or in any sport. Tomball is located on the west, outside of Houston, northwest. But the validation that Jimmy Butler was getting, the closest thing he got to ironing his or sharpening his pencil was with John Urie and the Houston Superstar. He did well. And at that time, a lot of the college coaches saw him play because John Urie was only 2 summers removed from the TJ Ford, Daniel Ewan, Kenny Taylor squad that had national admiration, recognition. So once you get that type of team, people still going to schedule you on the main court because it ain't necessarily the player, it's the program. It's the name on the front of the jersey for many cases. Don't get this stuff twisted. And we'll talk about that later on, about the names on the front versus the player inside the jersey. We're getting to that later. Make myself a note so that I won't forget. Now, John Urie, I go to one memorable moment from that summer was we was in Las Vegas at a tournament that used to be called the Vegas Big Time. Adidas ran this event. John Urie was on the main floor, Foothill High School. Jimmy Butler was on that court, and that was a flock of college coaches because if you're on the main court, you're playing another Adidas flavored team or sponsored team, and they have prospects as well. And in case you're wanting the rule of thumb, every single team that has every single 17 and under team that has a sneaker deal, right? That has a sneaker deal. They are expected to average, to produce at least 4 mid to high Division I prospects. Expected. I think that's the over and under. At least 4 mid to high. So that's why they vigorously go out and just recruit during the offseason, because the expectations, you're getting a check for this one team. Now some people parlay that into other teams. So now Jimmy Butler is out here. John Urie is telling him, shoot it. And by halftime, Jimmy Butler had missed so many shots. I remember like yesterday, University of Houston coach at the time, I can't remember who it was, might have been Tom Penders. He got up and walked on out the gym. This was in July. They had saw him play several times. Fish just wasn't biting. Guys, my point is this. Jimmy Butler proceeded to go to Tyler Junior College, where he played for 1 year. Alan Branch was instrumental because at that time, for those of you that may not know, Alan Branch was an assistant coach with John Urie during that time. Rick Nelson was an assistant up under John Urie during that time. Alan Branch's son played on the team. And somehow he befriended Jimmy Butler. And by befriending Jimmy Butler, they ended up going to Tyler Junior College together. Alan Branch was adamant and instrumental in helping to push that through. Meanwhile, you had a guy that knew of Jimmy Butler by default because you couldn't help but hear the cries of John Urie. He would attract everybody to pay attention. But then once you pay attention, you can lose a person's attention if you're not showing up or showing out. So Buzz Williams ended up getting the head job at Marquette. Buzz gets the job at Marquette. He knows about this. So his ear and eyes was to the Texas JUCO scene. That's where Buzz started at. So Buzz, now Jimmy Butler had been performing. He had been getting down that 1 year of JUCO ball. And remember, Tyler Junior College, that's in Region 14 of the junior the junior college division conferences. That's one of the hardest conferences in the land, Region 14. You also have Region 5 in Texas as well. Jimmy Butler getting down, and guess what? He ended up with the relationship. They fed him, Jimmy Butler, to Marquette. They fed him to Marquette, right? And so, as they fed him to Marquette, and the rest is history, right? So my point is, he got better. He got better. It's obvious to you guys. And it just baffles me. So I go and I hear and I see people all the time, man, you slept on this dude. This dude here, you missed on this dude. And do you not think people get better? There are people right now you saw this morning that were walking around the track, walking through your subdivision. They were jogging around the track. They were some people that, guess what? And you might have seen a couple of them in a period of time. Some of them may have lost a couple of pounds. They got better. Potential is what's inside, what people think's inside of you, based on a combination of traits, can produce that potential. It can be tapped into. People get better. There are many people that I've came across in life that had went in a period of time, from whether it be the 80s or the 90s or whatever, and got caught, fell prey to the cocaine, the crack epidemic. There are several that I know, you know too, that were able to pull themselves up and out of that addiction. And guess what? They're doing great in their life now. People get better. Now, during that time, you knew some of them had potential. Some of those, remember, it didn't discriminate at all. You had lawyers, you had doctors, you had accountants. That were addicts, that were on crack. At that time, when you saw them, asking you for $5, $10, $2, 75 cents. You look at them, you think two ways, like, damn, you're gone. Or B, you got the potential. I see it in you. Let me help you. Nobody slept on you. So this is what I want to harp on. I want to hammer in that you can use that for your motivation all you want. However, I firmly believe that people they do and they will get better when applied properly. He's one of them. True story, Thaddeus Moody. I was in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, man, probably about 10 years ago. And I in Chicago, I went, and my good friend Mike Irvin, son of the late great Mac Irvin, Nick Irvin, that is, does promotions, like club promotions, Mate, like used to do. And so this particular night, there was a spot in Chicago, not far from downtown, and we go to this spot, come on in, you know how it is, you got this section, and you got everything for us, me and a couple of the fellas. And Jimmy Butler was playing with the Chicago Bulls at the time. Jimmy Butler and also playing with the Chicago Bulls at the time was John Lucas Jr. I mean the third. So little John was in there. That section right, it's like the sections were connected. So our sections are right next to, right, you know, you walking into one into the other. And so, you know, at that time, you know, everybody bottling up. And then Jimmy Butler said to me, he said, quote unquote, he say, I said, Jimmy Butler, what's going on, fella? He said, I remember you. I say, you should. I say, how? He say, you're the guy who, he said, you're Jim Hicks. You the guy who ranked me, who had me ranked low. You were my first level of motivation of people to prove wrong. I say, wow. Well, look how it turned out. You're a millionaire right now. So maybe that was a good thing to do. But it was funny. Because now looking at that video, at that interview the other day, he really meant that. And you got to realize, you guys don't understand his life. Jimmy Butler was kind of like a basketball version of The Blind Side. He had a lady that took him in when he was a teenager. Her name is Michelle. A lot of people in Houston know Michelle. She's good people. And, you know, here we go. But you guys, you know, good story. Point is, people get better. People get better. Now, as far as I told you about the name on the jersey thing, when I was doing last week with the Doug's Dozen Classic, Doug Jones, his annual signature event. Shout out to Robert Hatter. He's on the in the Boom Boom Room as we speak, and he's interacting with you guys in the Boom Boom Room. So Hatter is he can't come on right now, but but he's actually right there engaging. Now back to the Doug's Classic. We're doing the schedule, as you guys know. I did this comprise the schedule for this tournament, this classic, this event. And a lot of people, when they do tournaments, and I strongly encourage everybody, because I believe that teams, you guys are the consumers. So as you are the consumers, then you're well within your right to request how you want your burger made, what you want in your drink. You do all that when you go to the restaurants and to the bars. Why you should be, and you should be more proactive in saying this is what we want. However, a lot of times, I've noticed during this particular tournament, there was far more people that appeared to be more concerned with playing a particular team name rather than your top player getting a chance to go against another player of like classification to go and prove that he's worthy of moving up. If that's greater, if you playing against the team is greater than you getting your kid to go against little Johnny, then that says something, and it means something that it can easily be interpreted. And know what it is? A lot of you coaches are missing the boat. You're missing out. You're not getting a freaking sneaker deal because you beat the Houston Defenders today. You're not getting a sneaker deal if you happen to go and beat JL3 today. You're not. Not. Unless, now, if you have a person, a player, that others have concluded or theorized that is a potential pro, a potential lottery pick, then you have a chance. You have a chance to get a deal, to get in the room and have that conversation with. Somehow, so many of you guys have been misled about grassroots basketball that ain't never been in a room, and it baffles the hell out of me. You've never been in a room. And people that telling you, some of them ain't never been in the room. Never been in the room. What I mean, I say in the room while a deal is while a conversation is being had from executive of the sneaker company, the executives of the sneaker company, I'm saying, and you, about knocking out details, hashing out details about a potential deal. That's what I meant, ain't been in the room. There's far too many folk out there that ain't never been in the room, claiming that they've been in the room, and y'all believing them that they've been in the room. That's baffling to me. That's crazy to me. Why? Why are we so easy to believe, to buy everything somebody's selling? We got to become smarter. We said it all the time. I said that about back to the teams, about playing the name, wanting to play the name on the front. Ain't nothing wrong with that per se, but if you have a player that's already ranked, you should be on seek and destroy mission for people that are ranked above him. So, grassroots team guys out there, program directors, coaches, this is how you do this. A lot of you guys are about to go and play in team camps. And I don't think you realize this or not. U of H, Rice has one this weekend. U of H has one next weekend. That's in the greater Houston area. A lot of the high school teams and the grassroots teams will be playing either in one or the other. It's the thing to do. You ain't cool if you ain't in that school nowadays. It's back hot, especially with U of H being the Final Four in recent years. So here's the deal. You may not even realize this, but when they make the schedule at U of H, you know what they're doing? They're not caring about the team name on the front. I promise you, those are auditions for many young men that are playing with respective teams. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. So when the schedule comes out, and if you are a top dog, that college coach, they're making their own schedule to appease to their time. We want Chris McDermott to play against Robert Miller at 12 noon. We want Jared Harris to play against Divine at 1 o'clock. They're doing matchups based on the player in the uniform. Because now those are auditions. That way now they know who their eyes are telling them based on them being the main coaches in the building, the only Division I coaching staff in that building. You are playing for their favor. And it's going to tell, they will be able to tell a whole lot. So some guys, they already know, and they've already offered, maybe, a scholarship. They just want to go and let that other guy measure themselves off of you, because if they saying they're good enough, we're gonna feed you to the wolves. We're gonna put him. Everybody has to play somebody. That's how the scheduling is done, in case you guys didn't know. I'm giving it to you, as we always do with the Chop Shop. Give you guys a little piece of game. And I'm looking right now. I see you. Slim McDaniel, what's going on? I see he's up in there. Sonia Billingsley then pulled up in there. Chad Grote, I see you in the boom boom room as well. Shout out as we get ready for Pango's camp. Same thing with Pangos. Some of those matchups, they do the schedule. They want to see some of those matchups right out the gate. You want this guy to play this guy. That way now, and then like camps, it's even a little different at camps, because even what we'll do at Top 100 camp, there's 11 to 12 people on each team. We'll let certain when certain games about to go on, certain matchups can possibly materialize, we'd let the coaches know, make sure you put this guy with the second group or the first group, and ditto for the other guy, because that coach that got him in the center. That way they on the court at the same time. 5 in, 5 out. Nah, that way they miss each other. Nah, we can't afford for these guys to miss each other. We can let the world see this one. You know? That happens. That's how a game goes. And now, somebody's kid gonna perform and live up to the hype. Some don't. The ones that don't, you're gonna have a bunch of excuses gonna come behind it. You know, stomach, he had a virus, he ate something bad. You know, his knee got hurt on the airplane, seat was too tight. You know, all that stuff. But that is a couple of the things that want to remind you or enlighten you on. Now, speaking of, I was talking about the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics earlier, and Gabe Vincent is out for tonight. He's out. So he will not be playing. And this is a young fella that undrafted and been averaging 17.5 points during these Eastern Conference Finals. And including 50% from three-point land. So, once again, that's more minutes for Tyler Hero. But at the same time, more minutes for Duncan. More minutes. Kyle Lowry is dinged up. He wasn't expected to full the load. But it just, whoever's in rhythm early will get it on. Odyssey says Boston will win tonight. Can they come back from 3-0? Well, it's 3-1 now, Odyssey. So, can they come back from 3-1? They're at home. They're the favorite. As promised, right now it's 45 minutes past the hour. And we're going to ask you guys to share the show to your timelines, share the show to your groups, and share the show as I am doing right now. Give it a good share on whichever platform that you are on. We're going to, and shortly, we'll open up the phone lines, and so that you guys, and I'm keying it up, so that way we can have conversations of topics of your choice. And I'm queuing this thing up for you. And we're going to have, let's see. There we go. Now, shortly I'll put the phone number up, and then you guys can call in, and that's how we'll get that thing at the top of the hour. Meanwhile, I want you guys, we have one of our guests that's always on the Chop Shop, and we talked about it before, and that is Kelton Solomon. He signed my bottle. Solomon and Bryant. It's the Merlot. And if you have not tasted, supported his wine, he has a variety of reds and whites, but it's the cab right here. And I've already put a dent in this one right here. As you can see, you can tell. I like about it, I even like when you open it, no cork screw is needed. When you take the wrap off, this is what goes in. This is the cork. It's a glass cork, which is kind of cool. So get you Solomon and Bryant. Shout out to Kelton Solomon. He's a Houston native, Worthing High School grad, and he's, in addition to being a home builder, he has established his own wine, which we support wholeheartedly. Now, we'll go down the line and we'll see some of the topics that you got as we go and head into the top of the hour, when we will open up the phone lines at the top of the hour. One is, I just say, when do you think, he said, well, let's put it up on the screen for you guys. Jim, he says, when do you think the Astros gonna go ahead and pull away with the division? Well, honestly, Astros are in second place right now. The Texas Rangers has been maintaining in that division pretty much most of this season. We're approaching the 50 game mark, which we're almost at the 1/3 mark of the season. Well, we passed the 25% mark of the season. Astros are doing well. However, Altuve just returned the other day. Then they had to table him day before yesterday. He left the game with an undisclosed illness. This Astro team has been shut out 2 games in a row. First time all season. They've been shut out twice. Hadn't scored a run in at least 18 innings. It's time. They're overdue because they're off today, and starting on Friday, the Astros will play a team that's the worst team in baseball right now, and deservedly so, is the Oakland A's. A team that the trash can scandal doesn't even exist without the former Astro pitcher who was then on the staff of the Oakland A's and thought he would just be getting glorified points from going out there snitching as he did. So, and the Oakland A's, on top of that, they went and pulled and signed about at least 3 Astros, 3 former Astros. They've signed and put them in the lineup. So the Oakland is like the Astros JV team. Astros will be fine. They're going to hit that stretch. I'm thinking Odyssey around about game number, right around the All-Star break. Is when you'll see, because Altuve has to come and get himself back into Major League Baseball rhythm. Other than that, I like the lineup, and also Abreu. He's playing like, when you look at it, the cat that makes the videos about the Lakers, trash. It's what Abreu has been for the Astros. How could you be so good and be yet so bad in an 8-month span? So we're hoping, and we'll keep saying that Abreu can't get any worse. Once he clicks and becomes a viable hitter in that 4 or 5 hole that they have him batting in, then you're going to see the lineup. Other than that, we're deep. So that's what I think about the Astros. And once again, speaking of catching the Rangers, I'm trying to think, who does the Rangers play this weekend? I don't have it in front of me, but I know they don't play the Oakland A's. So Astros had better find their winning ways against the Oakland A's. Now, next question is, Kevin Freidman says, Jim, have you talked about Ja? Freight, we hadn't talked about Ja, but in case you guys didn't know, on yesterday, Ja Morant went on social media again. One of the last places he needs to be right now. It just goes to show you guys how addictive social media is. I touched on the crack epidemic. But those of you who never did grasp and understand just how a person can get hooked on crack, step back and take a look and see how you are with that cell phone. How you are with social media. Because you can be hooked on your cell phone, not necessarily hooked on social media. You follow me? So there's two different addictions. Hooked on it, addicted to it. Ja is back on social media. And he sent out a couple of cryptic messages. First one said, love your ma, with a blue heart. Then love your pops, with a blue heart. And then you're the greatest baby girl. And then followed that up with bye. He had a full-fledged conversation on social media. Wasn't nobody even talking back to him. He had a full-fledged conversation right then. That just go to show you these people. It's just unbelievable. But I understand. It's just unbelievable. So people, as well as his employer, keep constant tabs on him and his whereabouts right now, especially while he's awaiting punishment from the NBA for his recent antics with a gun on social media after being scolded about it before and promising to not do that again. So that goes into what makes this second gun situation worse than it really is. You said and you promised you weren't going to do that no more. And you did it, and that's the one that was on tape. So how many times does that mean, or that eliminate, does that close the door? It actually opens the possibility that you might have done that on a couple of other days. It just didn't make it to where the guy punched the red button to start recording. They did a welfare check on Ja Morant and deemed him to be fine. I say this right now, and I've said this several times. That's everybody in life. As long as the talent is greater than the problem, you will be tolerated. But once the problem grows greater than the talent, you are expendable. Right now, people are questioning. They are having meetings, have had meetings about they're having buyer's remorse for Ja Morant. Because now people that are conscious consumers know, they're saying we're not going to buy his stuff. We're not going to buy his stuff. We're not going to support him while he's doing that. And social media, his accounts should have been, muted. Somebody else should get his accounts, change the passwords to the account so that he can't log in until he gets over this hurdle. If he fully gets over this hurdle. That's what I say about Ja Morant. Robert Haller says, Astros are terrible. Oh, man. Boy, it's hater season is year-round on Astros. And he also says, go Celtics. And we're going to definitely ask everybody to share the show. Right now, again, we are creeping up at the top of the hour. 3 minutes before the phone lines open up. 3 minutes before the phone lines open up. And I just hope, I don't want to see Ja Morant crumble. I hope he can emerge out of this, but social media is the common denominator right now. That's like the club that you go to. All three of your latest incidents have transpired or were ignited by way of social media. You need to find a different club or a different pub to go to. If he's addicted, that means he got to be in the club. Find a different one. You just got to. You got to, man. And I know sometimes when people that is never, it never had certain type of money, once you get that money, it's hard to envision yourself living no other way or living the way that you used to live, because you can't see yourself blowing that money. You can't see yourself going through that money. But guess what, man? It's possible. It is. You won't be the first and won't be the last. So, with Ja, this stuff, it ain't funny no more. And if Ja comes into your, think about it like this. Understand something. Many of you guys will say, man, if I had that type of money, I wouldn't go nowhere. I'll party. I'll be at home and bring the party to me every night. But if you're addicted to social media, and if you're addicted to that lifestyle, then somebody has to either give you a substitute, because you're not going to unaddict yourself just like that until you hit a crisis or what you may perceive as rock bottom. He's a long way from that. But once it starts hitting you economically, then it'll get your attention. Once it gets your attention, then you can move forward from there. Remember when dudes say, hell, you need to mute his friend's account. That's possible. But, remember the old song from Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince? We say parents just don't understand. when those young guys are talking, they're saying that all of us are tripping. We don't understand. They not no hangers on. They not, how you gonna call my boy I've known since we grew up, since we were throwing sand on each other in the sandbox. How you gonna call him a hanger on or whatnot? So then that helps them to stay together, because they said we can do what the hell we want to do. And that's when the problem comes in, because if Ja Morant, if he excludes his buddies or his buddy from the circle, then he's going to be in fear of losing his street cred. He's going to be in fear of, So that means you have to find whoever the circle of influence has to shift in his sphere. Obviously, that young man has more influence on Ja when it comes to life outside the court, off the court, and antics and doing things, hanging out, than it need be. So how would you do that? Well, if you somebody, just say if you're the father, go and take another trip. Go take a trip with him. Go find something to fill that gap, to substitute, and then maybe it can work. Maybe it can work. Keep him in the gym a couple more hours. Make him work out. Make him get more tired. If he's more tired, maybe he don't want to go nowhere. But you have to find a creative way to get him into a different thinking pattern. Mind you, at the end of the day, team-wise, Ja Morant got a lot of work to do. What's on his basketball resume, except for the individual, a couple of individual accolades right now. Hopefully he'll be right, man. Hopefully he can get it over here. Now, next up, top of the hour, guys. We are actually 2 minutes past the hour, and want to officially open up the phone lines. Let's get this thing popping, and what we'll do is we'll get this off of here, and we'll get this on here. There we go. Phone lines are open right now, and you guys can call in and share your thoughts. And we have, meanwhile, I'm reading some of the y'all. I'm reading some of the comments, y'all. Karen Freeman says, "Stop hanging out at Mr. A's." Yeah, I don't know if Mr. A. Yeah, they still may be open. Yeah. But you guys can call in, share your thoughts. Meanwhile, we can shift over to a little bit of basketball news and recruiting news. And I have next, one thing is important to have share with you guys is that in Texas, I think I've said this twice, there's Ken Paxton is the Attorney General, and he spearheaded a bill that will enable kids to transfer at one time in high school, middle school and high school, without penalty to various school districts. Now, you guys got to understand, a lot of people just look at this stuff and don't realize the dynamics of what's going on. What brought this bill at hand? It's basically a transfer portal that it would enable in Texas public schools from the 7th grade on up. And so basically, in a nutshell, school districts, whenever a kid goes to a district outside of where he resides and go to another district, the state gets, let's say, if the number was $4,000 for a student to go out of your district, they're doubling, as much as doubling that amount. They're taxing people and they're welcoming them out of district transfers, but you're getting like 2 times the money now per head. And many of you guys, those are tax dollars that's going. So now what they're saying is like, hey, everybody can get one free transfer and it wouldn't cost the state a dime. So all of that money could be saved. That's the element, the nucleus of this, what spearheaded this bill. I had to go and, did a little homework. And I didn't realize that the number was that much. So every one of you kids where you stay at, and if you know somebody that go to a school outside that district, now, some of you guys may have fake addresses. We know how that stuff goes. But the ones that don't, when you go from the 8th grade to 9th grade, they have what they call open enrollment. So you go to one of those schools, they getting paid as much as like $9,000 a kid. Per kid. So what this would do, it would require every district in the state to allow students from campuses within the district and from their campuses in other districts to transfer to the school. That means the doors are open, right? And it would usurp any current transfer policies that are in place. Like some districts, they would get like a lottery process. That way, like saying if you want to transfer to a school in this district, okay, one got to go to Wheatley, okay, the next one got to go to Yates, okay, the next one got to go to Booker T, the next one got to, in that fashion, unless you are trying to get in one of the magnet programs. So now the high school coaches associations are rallying vigorously against and trying to they're making emails and phone calls to try to against this rule. I'm saying to myself, well, I'm more so it would be fun to see it happen to me from my side of the fence, but I don't have a dog in the fight, so I'm on the 50-yard line, but I'm probably really on like the 39-yard line. Got good field position, but I ain't in field goal range. Maybe the 42-yard line on this thing. But I do understand why coaches could be afraid of the transfer portal affecting them. They thinking it would be like the Wild Wild West. I'm like, well, it would be no more Wild Wild West than it would be for high school, for the colleges right now, that they're going through the transfer portal. Mind you, another bill that's set to, that could take an effect January 2024. Could. It's highly probable that this bill could be voted into law, a separate bill that would enable Texas high school students to get name, image, likeness. Well, they're going to get name, image, likeness in the whole state. Then guess what? Guess what kids are going to start doing? They're going to start transferring around anyway. They already do it anyway. Who the hell are we fooling right now? Every damn year there's a different type of scandal that's going on, or a different type of headline that surfaces in the state of Texas when it comes to basketball or football about somebody that's moved that got denied in recent years. You name the recent year that we didn't have any type of scandal or headline. It's already transpired. So if the name, image, likeness is going to be inevitable, it is inevitable. It's going to happen. Then guess what? How are you going to stop it? How are you going to beat if you are Lamar High School, how you gonna beat Katie? It's bankroll if they have name, image, likeness. Name, image, likeness would enable that parent to go and help and uproot and move out in that district wholeheartedly into a little apartment or something. All they have to do is see, with the rise in mental health, most people that get denied because of transfer reasons, remember the statement, the word verbiage is, did he transfer for athletic purposes? Most people that get denied is because something they said, meaning via electronically, that come back to bite them in the ass. Most people. They said something, or they did something on a video, or they sent an email, a text message, then it came on social media to insinuate that you definitely, to help you convict yourself. Most people. So, if you thinking about transfer, why not? It's easier to push the bullying situation out there first. Call the principal, send an email, my son is being bullied. Send another email to the other principal, CC the superintendent of the district, CC the assistant principal. My son is being bullied. Somebody wrote, he's fearing for his life. So now you put safety in there. And then there you go. Now you have a viable alibi. Then you go and my son hadn't been able to sleep. I took him to the doctor. All that got to go. That goes in front. Then the rest of that stuff, you ain't moving basketball purposes. Move and get the hell away. Even if it ain't true, that's what you need to be saying. Is what I'm saying to you. Some of y'all, you can't get out your own way. You know why? Some of you just are hypocrites. If you can go and look at Ja Morant and say how stupid he is, and then you go and turn around and y'all get on there and talk about the coach, talk about this, talk about you talking basketball, you talking football, you throwing innuendo, social media post out there. And everybody's just screenshotting. They're just screenshotting away. And that's what is happening to some of y'all. And then you wonder why they tripping when you go to one of these hearings and your kid get denied. So, also, wait a minute. I got a question. Walter Yates says, I blame LeBron in the decision. Oh, he puts an LOL, so he's laughing. I was like, you got to elaborate on that, brother. Blame him for what? Yeah, Trey Phillips, that's what they do. You get mad at the coach and tell the coach, that's why we leaving. And the coach is going to come into the hearing and quote you. Then you say, man, the coach, why are you going to sit there and say that? Because you said it. You just couldn't play the game. You couldn't follow the script. I just gave you a script. I gave you a script that's unbeatable if you play that script. Gave you one that's unbeatable. Some people got to tell everybody they leaving. Yeah. I mean, it's the think about it. It can't get out their own way, and these are mostly the grown folk. Think about this. It's mostly the grown folk. 95% of the time, it's the parent or an adult that holds influence on the kid that's going to go on one of those rants, and all you're doing is sinking your own boat. But then you go and you say, Ja Morant is a fool. Ja Morant, well, how stupid can you be? And the minute that y'all get a chance, here y'all go. Worse than Ja Morant. Worse. It's crazy, man. You guys, somebody asked a question, why is it so easy for coaches to leave versus kids? Well, it's a do as I say and not as I do type society. First of all, those coaches went through their employees. Kids are not employees. So that's one reason why it's so easy. And that's what, now once this name, image, likeness thing saturates itself, people gonna see at that point it's gonna have to it's gonna go up, then it's gonna go down, then it's gonna correct itself and settle on out. Up meaning people gonna be hype, jump on the momentum and jump out there and go and think they're gonna get these deals, think they're gonna get this, they're gonna get that, then they're gonna realize they ain't getting that, then the word will come back around and it's gonna crash. People gonna be like mad and pissed off about it. Because so many grown folks and so many companies will have, if your ass ain't performing, then you're not gonna be getting what you thought you're gonna get for one reason or another, and then it's gonna crash. Then it's gonna level itself out, and at the end of the day, everybody will be able to go to the corner store and get a pack of Now Laters and some Zuzus and Wham Whams before it's over. And that's it. When you thought you were gonna be able to get a car, that big man on campus was already getting taken care of in every community in the hood. Now, meanwhile, back to this name, image, back to this transfer portal thing, which, once again, if it's voted into that means kids will be able to transfer. I personally think it would help the urban schools, because now you can sell to that kid who grandma still lives in 5th Ward, or Independence Heights, or Acres Homes, or 3rd Ward, the old, the CUNY Homes, part of 3rd Ward. You could sell to them, come on, Sunnyside, South Acres. You could sell to them, come on, give us a try. If you don't like it, you can go. You can transfer without penalty to any other school you want to. So I think, and some of you guys may have thought about that, that's where it benefits. Otherwise, they have hardly little reason for a school like Cashmere High School. It's going to be, the deck is stacked so far against a school like that from even having a chance to be very competitive in basketball, to that they might as well merge. TA might as well. When you're winning in school, it helps the attendance of the school. When you're winning in school, it helps the atmosphere in the hallways. When you're winning you have winning programs. People love winners. So what happens is the attendance will spike up. People want to be a part of that. As people want to be a part of that, then guess what? You keep winning, you keep getting it. And you look over, remember, Yates High School started back winning about 15 years ago. Once they start, Wheatley High School had a surge about a 5-6 year stint of winning before Yates did. Wheatley was the hottest thing on the block, and then it leveled off. You get that window opportunity, and before Wheatley took off, guess who had the winning ways? 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It was probably the last time that Cashmere High School came in first place in basketball. They had a team that in the 9th grade, they had went undefeated and won 32 straight games in 9th grade. Back then, HISD had a city championship. Cashmere lost to Lamar in the city championship at Barnett Fieldhouse. Only loss of the season. But the overall, how would I say it, atmosphere of the student body, it was on bleak. Transfer portal, this SB 418, that's the name of the bill, SB 418. It would enable, it would give an opportunity now for a kid to give it a try at one of them schools. Because nowadays, if he goes to your school and it ain't going right, he's going to leave anyway. Listen, they got so many schools, they're almost like flying on like catcher's mitts, just sitting up under some of these schools. Legacy, the School of Sports Science, is over here. PSAT is over here. Good Vision Academy is over here. These are just 3 among many in just this one city. They're waiting. They're waiting. Now you have another one that's opening up this fall. Empowering Others Prep. So it's going to be another one. They're just waiting. See, some of you high school coaches, the public school coaches, I understand the initial sticker shock, but you're not realizing what this is going to do. More of these schools are opening. More of these guys who are affiliated with the schools like this are also supreme influencers during the grassroots season. Are you following me now? They're in control of your kids and their mammies and pappies during the non-scholastic season. So you wonder, and know what they have in common now? They all coach or have grassroots programs now. Up under the scholastic. So they have a scholastic component and a non-scholastic component that's affiliated with the school. Legacy is affiliated, whether they want to be or not, affiliated, and they are supporters of Cool's Elite. Right? PJ Coonsnard, Cool's Elite. That's his day job, his legacy. So, what do you think? I would bet my right pocket that some of them Cool's Elite teams will be practicing at Legacy. If nothing else, you're going to save money off rental fees. Empowering Others Preps, Team Temple, affiliated. Right? Affiliated. Whether you like to, whether you want to or not, you're affiliated. PSAT, they don't have a grassroots program yet. It's only second lap around the track. We don't have one yet. Just wait. Just hold. Because if you can't beat them, you got to join them. Good Vision Academy, they are affiliated, whether they want to be or not, with Super Jazz Elite. Some people walk around and call them the Angolian second national team because they have an abundance of players from Africa. And one of the young men actually played for the national team in the recent FIBA games. Guys, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. And remember, we've seen the international play come through Houston. We've seen it. We've not necessarily from Africa, we've seen it. We've seen our first rodeo. Hell, we've had an international kid come through Houston, ended up being the number 2 pick in the draft. Lotto pick. Hashim Tabit came through Houston, went through Cypress Christian, which was affiliated with the junior hardballers. Guys, we ain't just started doing this stuff. Rory Coleman ran that program. We've seen it. It's happened. So, just getting you guys to understand, your high school coaches, be careful what you wish for. Them kids gonna leave your ass anyway. If they don't have no other players around there, or A, you have no players around there. B, if you keeping the gym locked, you're not unlocking that gym for them to get in there and work out. C, you're getting your ass kicked. You're gonna leave. Just like you're gonna leave if you get another job opportunity. Keep it a buck. Kids gonna leave. Once your shoestrings get dirty, they gonna get some new ones. But if you're on your grind, you got the right assistant coaches around you, you got the right staff, so guess what? They're paying attention. It's a zero-sum game. That means for every winner, there's a loser, and for every loser, there's a winner. So for every time that they want to pluck one of yours, you go pluck somebody trying to lead the next program. If your name, image, likeness, circle is just solid, we're not talking about no 5, 6 digits for no doggone kid. For the main portion of these kids, all they want to do is get a fresh pair of J's or something. So guess how that comes? In the form of name, image, likeness. It's already been there. So that means if you want to play for this program, we can get you some new product. You see? Grassroots coaches been buying players' cell phones. Don't y'all act like y'all naive to this stuff right now just because we in 2023. It's been going on. Grassroots coaches and people of influence been paying bills. Are y'all serious? Grassroots coaches have been having an extra rent house that a parent can go move into. Why we acting so naive on this stuff? On stuff y'all know happening out there, and you want to act like, well, man, they changed this, vote this in, then we're gonna be done, man. How they gonna? What do you mean? Some of you high school coaches, that right now today, there's probably more high school coaches who are volunteering on the grassroots non-scholastic circuit than ever. So know what that means? You couldn't beat them, you had to join them. You couldn't beat them, so I joined them. Some of these guys know if you're there and the kid parent, every kid has to have a roommate when they go on the road. Those good coaches gonna put that kid in the room. Remember, coaches now, they're preventing from coaching their own kids, public school coaches, during the grassroots season. But them other guys ain't. Them other guys ain't. The bulk of those other guys ain't. Put it like that. The bulk of them ain't. So you think of the advantage, the power of influence, the circle of influence. So now it goes deeper now because every other team now has added a new layer, a new level to the platform. Most of them now, the new I would call it the new detail shop. Remember back in the 80s, everybody had a detail shop. Then everybody had a landscaping business. Even if you didn't have no lawnmowers, you just had some business called landscaping business detail shop. Everybody had one back in the days. The new detail shop now is every other sneaker sponsored program will go, or sneaker affiliated program has went and hired their own social media content manager, their social media person. They went and hired that person now. So that's what's going. So that's the new thing now. So now you go and you influence the guy that's with the rankings. So that means now we can get you. That's part of name, image, likeness. Indirect. That's an indirect version of name NIL that you're dangling at some of these kids. Come play with us, we can get you up. We can get your rankings up. Play with us, we know all these schools. Remember, it's already been done 100 times over. Play with us, you get a scholarship. We get you D1. Lying through their damn teeth. But that's what you want to buy, so that's what they're gonna sell. That's what it is. Glenn Bishop said everyone has their own perspective. I just don't like the transfer portal. One, because the kids are now taking advantage of the process. Some is transferred 2 or 3 times. So understand something. If they are already taking advantage of the process, what process they taking advantage of? There's no law, there's no rule that grants them one. People that's transferred 2 or 3 times, not to public schools. This could give the public schools a chance, a fighting chance, to prevent your kids from leaving and going to California or to Missouri or to Florida beforehand. You can still leave, but at least give it a try in the 9th or the 10th grade. That's what this can do. It keeps an 8th grader from being held hostage. I'm not even trying to talk about 8th graders. I ain't going to lie to y'all right now. Not today. But that's the thing. It can, if people are already doing it, they're already doing it. So what the hell are we talking about? What kid you think? What are we talking about? You can't stop this stuff. All you have to do now, and I thought that it would level itself out by now, but it hadn't. Kids just like to see a schedule saying they're going to go to all these places out of town, and you can go put the schedule up. I can go make a schedule for the Chop Shop prep school tomorrow and go and just name every powerhouse school I can think of and say we're going to play this team, we're going to play this team. Just make up a fictitious schedule. How will you know to go and counter check that schedule? How would you know to counter check? How would you know I'm lying or not? You hope I'm being truthful. You hope that this thing is going to be real. You hope it's going to go down. But truth be told, in Houston alone, like we can get into Dallas, because they have their fair share of ones as well. Guys, you can understand my feelings are morphed from what I've seen with my own eyes in recent history. They come and they go. Talking about the prep school, the basketball influenced factories. Remember, guys, when I started off in this business, it was Cleveland Heritage Christian. When I started. Then it came because if you do too well That means you got a lot of influence getting those kids into that program. And if you got that much influence and you can recruit to that magnitude, then a college coach is going to take notice. And that college coach is going to offer you a job. Who would not? That's how it goes. If you do well enough, somebody from that program is going to get an opportunity to advance their career. Okay? And if you do, then who are they going to replace you with? That prep school that you just left. So once they can't replace you, then that's when you got to dip. So after Heritage Christian came Christian Life. Christian Life occupied the space in I think what is the Lighthouse Church right now. They occupied, that was the space for which it existed in. And after then, you came Alvin Community Christian. Then after that, you had, you had so many of them that came and went. So many of them. Which, all the way advancing all the way through to 2017, 18 when you had Victory Prep. They all come. Gulf Shores, that's what I missed that came after Gulf Shores Academy. They come and they go. If you do well enough, understand, most of those coaches were college basketball players. Most of their dream was to get and be a college coach, or to go back and be an NBA coach after that ball has stopped bouncing. So I'm just giving it to you just so you can open up your eyes and realize it's inevitable. It's inevitable. You have one of the young fellows from down here in Texas. Can't think of the young coach now, young brother. He went to Link Academy. He worked there for 3 years at Link after leaving one of the JUCOs. Goes to Link. He recruits a couple of kids from out of Texas to go to that school, that prep school and play. They get national recognition. They kick a little butt. Guess what happens? A college coach notices that. They give him a job at Sam Houston State. He just left there and hired. So guess what? Does he keep sending kids to Link Academy? Well, he might not have a chance to get none of those kids back, because those kids ain't going to Link Academy to end up at Sam Houston State. I'm just telling you. I ain't telling you what I heard. So watch how the promotions change up. You got to be smarter consumers, guys. Smarter consumers. Smarter consumers. And I'm reading some of the comments from you guys, and Texas does have talent, man. People know that now. They know that. Do you guys know that the TABC, that live period is coming up where kids will be able to play with their high schools? That's going to be, I think June the 23rd. Well, last year that event was held at Duncanville High School, and of course, after all of the stuff and all of the drama that went down between Duncanville High School, Duncanville ISD, and the UIL/TABC, I said it ain't no way in the hell. It would be so hypocritical for UIL to go right back up into Duncanville and host that and let that event host again. So I can't even, I got to see it to believe it. Sure enough, they're not using Duncanville High School this year. Which, if I'm Duncanville, I don't even really want them. Let's keep it a buck. You on that side of the fence, that's you know, do your thing. And but last year's event, my point is, was the most populated with college coaches than any other of those likable events in the United States. It was the most populated, was Texas. So here's what happens now. There's a lot of schools that's going to be there. A record number of schools will be in attendance for boys this year. Well over 300. Could be 400 by now. And once again, those young men will get a chance to play with their high school teams, right? With their high school buddies. And let me get on here for y'all. There we go. They get to play with their high school buddies. And with a grassroots type atmosphere. Some teams are going to be playing on court number 1. Some teams are going to be playing on court number 21. I'm just giving an example. But the opportunity to be there, an opportunity to possibly be seen, is prevalent and would be in existence for most. That don't mean you're gonna be seen. But for some high school coaches out there, they felt they had no choice but to take their team there, even though they know they have no Division I prospect. They don't even have a damn intramural prospect on some of these teams, and they're still going. Because if they did not go, then they could possibly lose some of their kids to transferring. Because that means you would get a jacket on your back, or you could get a jacket on your back as a coach who don't care. That's what we live in right now. And truth be told, for most of you kids out there, it's a live period every damn week for most of y'all. It's a live period every week. 42 minutes past the hour on the Chop Shop. I'm going to ask you guys again, can you share the show? If you would do so, you can share the show to your timelines, to your groups, to your pages. Give us a share. And don't forget, speaking of grassroots event, don't forget July the 6th through the 9th. That is the George McClellan Invitation. The GMI. GMI has plenty of history around this area, and make sure there's still time to get your team entered, redo your schedule, and save yourself a whole bunch of money. Be real. You've been around the country. You've traveled in different cities. A lot of you teams out there, you done been on the quest, and this is an NCAA approved. This is a certified event, which costs a lot of money and a lot of resources to do and conduct one. If that's the case, everybody would have live events. Nowadays, you have to open up all of your books to the NCAA to conduct a live event. I'm not sure if you guys know that or not. You have to open your books all the way up, not peek it up. So that a lot of people ain't daring to do that. You have to even put the names of the referees that's refereeing the event. You got to put their names down. They got to get their name, their address. All of that info. The NCAA wants if you want to host a live event. Everybody ain't trying to put you in a mix like that. Yeah, trade for the financial book as well. Absolutely. So I'm looking right now. Yeah, the athletic trainer and the work. You got to put all that on there. All of that. A lot of people don't know this. So that's why NCAA certified events are a little bit more expensive, because you have to pay the NCAA and you have to get all this other stuff, and you have to show proof of all this other stuff. You got to have insurance 4 months in advance. A lot of different stuff that most people don't get. If you haven't done so, and you haven't saw the recaps, the detailed recaps from the Doug's Dozen this past weekend, I put one out for the 17U, another one out for the 16U, and then a third one out for the 15U. Teams that went unbeaten this past weekend. Which is a lot of writing, a lot of typing, a lot of ink. I want to acknowledge some of these young men, because it's Baby Friday. Give them a little ink. This is the perfect time to share the show as we get ready to land the plane in about 15 minutes. But Divine Ugochukwu from Clements High School. You know, Divine went, he normally plays with the Houston Hoops. He played with the Dream Elite. Akeem Olajuwon was on the bench. Frank Rutherford coached the team. Akeem Olajuwon has about 3 sons that are coming through the chute. I think one is a 10th grader, one is a 9th grader, and one may be an 8th grader. And all 3 are Division I prospects. And I don't blow smoke. 2 of the 3 could be mid to high majors. Could, remember, depending on how they progress. Aziz Olajuwon is the 9th grader. He was solid this weekend. It was good. I watched, of course, the Houston Elite D-Gibb, team of unsigned seniors. This team, all you got to do is just continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. And I promise you, it's going to pay off for most of the players. I know we're creeping up on June. A lot of people make these commitments and they say, I'm going to play summer with them. Unsigned senior teams, their expected life is start to fizzle around the 1st of June. Because that's around the time when graduations take place. Once graduation takes place, a lot of these young people will get depressed. They could get depressed, because then it starts to hit reality that, man, I've been doing everything people wanted of me for this basketball. I've been getting up, I've been going here, I've been working out, I've been doing all this. I made all district, I made all region. In some cases, I made all state. I've been doing this, and I dropped 20 on this on Junebug here. I dropped 30 on this dude. We ain't never lost to this team, and everybody got their own resume. And I still don't have an offer. That can be depressing. And parents can get depressed. They're like, man, I just put all of this money, X amount of dollars, into him to make my son happy. And at the end of the day, now my son in his room don't want to come out. He ain't ate in a whole day and a half. And see, it spreads. Then the parent get to wondering, damn, did I fail my kid? I gave him the opportunity. I've got to fight for my kid. So now what do? That's why I say be patient. A team like Houston Elite D-Gibb, I heard they went out of town to Dallas a couple of weeks ago, and they were playing in inopportune courts with inopportune times in some cases. Remember, once again, I said it at the top of the show. You guys are the consumers. You should never play in another tournament this summer unless you have a guarantee that they're going to put your ass on the main court or the court next to the main court, or you don't give them your money. See, grassroots basketball, there are a lot of unsigned seniors out there playing. But when you have a collection of talent that is amongst the ones that are left available, you have what is called a premium assembly of talent. You have to, if you don't consider yourself premium, then how in the hell you expect somebody else to put you on court number one? You have to first request this. We will come if you can guarantee us to play between this time and this time on each of these days, and if you're going to give us, I'm going to give you 5 teams. We need 2 of them. And what makes it better, let me give you a hint. Unsigned senior, don't fall into this trap. I said it earlier. Damn the name on the front of the jersey for a team. You have unsigned seniors. Your guys are really 18 and under. You should get not much thrill playing against 17 and under teams with majority 17 under players. You should seek out and find out where are the top unsigned seniors that are playing on some of these other teams. Now, where they rank that in their area or in the state. Find them where they playing at. Those are the ones you want your kids to go after if they have recognition. Because why are we supposed to give you a cookie if you're a 12th grader and you whooped an 11th grader? I mean, I'm keeping it a buck. What we supposed to do? You do what you're supposed to do because you already been identified of being that good in the first place. So you're doing what you're supposed to do. You know what you better do. D. Gibb unsigned seniors went 3-0. They went undefeated this past weekend. All right? They went undefeated this past weekend at the Doug's Dozen. And in doing so, I know that Justin Scott played well. Keyshawn, he's from Westbury Christian. Keyshawn Cotton played well. Kendrick Bailey had to have played well, or the team wouldn't have been undefeated. And Chooks Egbo, who's recently committed somewhere, he actually played with them as well. Did well. Lee Junior College was in the building. I think for one of their games at least. Some of you guys at this point, if you don't have Division I offers, and that was what you were seeking or what somebody had told you that you can get, and the bus just ain't, the plane ain't landing for that, you're unsigned senior, it's time to seriously consider your options. You are only as good as your options, people. Stop playing around with this stuff. Guess what? You got to go get it out the mud. Jimmy Butler was once you. You got to get it out the mud. But you got to be willing to go and get it. I keep telling people, you keep playing around with this stuff, you're going to get just what you deserve. In many cases. Eric Harrison say this is big time trauma, and he says he worked with kids like that, meaning that kids who need counseling from the depression. Eric, you ought to put the name of your company on the timeline so that the people can see it, so they can visualize it. That way they can save it. I'm sorry. There's people. This is that time of the year. I'm telling you, dudes. Do you know how many kids out there that are playing that really just think in their mind that mama or daddy got all my college taken care of? And that parent hadn't sit that kid down, because a parent is a protector, they're a provider, and they haven't sit there and explain the economic situation that they have, that they used that, they started out saving back when you was 4 or 5 years old, but you had to go tap into that because, you know, Hurricane Harvey came through and you didn't have the insurance, so you had to use this money up, and guess what? You don't have the money for them to go to college. It's real conversation that people have, our people are supposed to have, but they don't really have until it's too late. So now this kid thinking he's going to this school, he don't know he's not going to that school. You ain't fill out no FAFSA papers, you ain't did nothing. Went on the line and got him to send you some registration forms and ain't did nothing else since then. You're not going to that school. So you're going to put your kid on a path to where it's now, when you walk across that stage, I said the other day, some schools announce your scholarships as well as your scholarship money when you walk across the stage, depending on the size of the class. Some schools announce that. And there's going to be people that's going to be on that team that played on that basketball or that football team or that volleyball team with your kid that was the last one on the bench. And their parents are going to sit there and say, because you done told all them all these days, you going to U of H, play with Coach Sampson them, you know, you going to play with them. Because you were the red hat in your ant bed. So now you got to walk across that stage and they're not going to say your name with a school behind it at all. Depression is about to be supreme during these weeks right here. Because now people start to ask you the question that many of them already know. They just want you to verify it or validate it. Hey, what college you going to again? Hey, when you going to that school? When you going to U of A? When you packing up? What day you start school? Now you got to double down on that lie. Oh, not to mention the ones of y'all that go to church. Y'all done made the preacher make everybody at church think that y'all kid going to University of Texas to play for Rodney Terry next year. Because you done gave him all the clippings on when he scored 25 and when the Dayton won district. He made all district, MVP, all region, made all state, went to the Houston Area Basketball Coaches Association or the TABC All-Star game, scored 10, 15 points there. You got everybody thinking your baby going this. And when it don't happen, not only is your kid depressed, not only are you embarrassed, but my main question is, who the hell are you going to blame? Who you gonna blame? I'll give you some advice. Go get a mirror, closest mirror you can find, and say, I blame you. Whoever you see in that mirror. And that's about as real as it gets. It's about as real as it gets. You have to sit there, you did it your way. And a lot of you guys, a lot of y'all did your part. You tried to walk some of them parents into the chop shop to get some knowledge on this recruiting stuff. And they sitting there and they let their hatred for rankings, for a rank, get in the way of their ability to get some intel that can help save them thousands upon thousands of dollars. So all you parents out there whose kid was once ranked and they are ranked right now, and you're an unsigned senior, how's that rank holding up? How much value does that rank have right now? You get what I'm saying? Y'all follow me? I'm just trying to keep it real. And the more of us and the more of you guys that will start to keep it real, mind you, at the end of these days, you want to keep score. Keep score and let me know. Start next week and come back. How many of these are your former players? When they come back and see you or knock on your door 15 years from now, or they played for you 15 years ago, to let you meet their wife, let you see their kids, just to come and bring you a case of a bottle of water. Those are the ones that you had the influence over or the immediate effect on. How many of them come back it's almost like we're building up a nation of kids to run away from your asses instead of come back to you? Because all you're doing is carrying them for 9 months, they gone somewhere else. They carry them for 9 months, they have another baby, they gone somewhere else. Meaning that in the metaphoric ways of having a baby. You take care of this kid from this point to this point, somebody else gonna grab him. If you raise them to come back, because eventually they all may have to leave for one reason or another. But if you start raising these kids to come back, no matter what the hell happened, come back and see me in 10 years. Look me in the eyes, tell me you're going to do that. And if you could do that, then the kid gonna keep his word or he ain't. But if you can get 5 to 10 young men 1 year at a time and make them take that pledge that on their birthday or on your birthday, you pick one of the days. Don't just say any day. Make them pick the day out. You come see me. I need to see you 10 years from now. That ain't asking much at all. What the hell does it cost for you to ask a kid? Make a kid make that pledge. That means no matter what, it might get bumpy between us. You might leave and go to another team. But do me a favor. Make this pledge. I may call you on your birthday. But then again, my fingers, I might get older and I might not even put my finger in dial. I might not even see the dial. But I need you to promise me that you'll come back, see me. If you get, for every kid that could do that, will possibly add 2 months to your life when you get older. So think about how many you can possibly affect that will come back and they keep telling you, hey man, coach, thanks man. They tell a story, tell their wife about you, tell their kid about, and you're sitting there and you know now, job well done. Job well done. You know? But anyway, guys, it's about that time to land the plane on this baby Friday. It's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing on this baby Friday. We want to thank you guys for being there, the ones who shared the show. We'll ask you to do it once more on your way out the door. We also shout out to Wesley Yates Jr. I see you over there. I ain't see you had slid up in the boom boom room. Clyde Jackson slid up in there. I see you. Marjorie Walker Taylor up in the building. I see you up there, Marjorie. And you guys, Glenn Bishop and your son, he says, does being a 12th grader mean that you're better than an 11th grader? You're older necessarily by age. For the most part, most 12th graders are older than most 11th graders. So there was a generic statement I made earlier that if you have a collection of 12th graders and they're playing a collection of primarily 11th graders, then those 12th graders shouldn't be expected to get a cookie for beating those kids that are a grade below. I didn't say an age below, I said a grade below. If we want to keep this thing a buck, which most of you guys don't want to keep it a buck, and that would be every other event that you play in the summertime that says 17 under. That means if you got a kid on that damn team that's turned 18 years old after September the 1st or even after January the 1st, then that means that kid ain't supposed to be playing on that division. Ask the event operators why the hell they miss advertising. Why are y'all playing that? So if you want, that's a whole different topic. By keeping it a buck, we play 17U, and that don't really mean it's 17U. So you built up on frivolous grounds from the get-go. People don't really mean age, they really mean grade now, because it's too hard for them to verify the age. Which nowadays, it's really easier to verify age than it is grade, because it's a reclass. But I want you guys to share the show on your way out the door. We appreciate everybody, man. Be right back at it on Monday. That was a good 2-hour and 5-minute ride with you guys, and we did it together. Meanwhile, go over to rcssports.com. Check out the recaps from the Doug's Dozen this past week, and we'll be right back in action with another event. Not this weekend, we're off, but next weekend we are having the June Classic, and that's going to be a collaboration of JRB events, TNBA, and Ball Out events collectively. But we have more of that stuff on next week. But I got to get up out of here now. Got a couple of meetings, guys. And once again, if you missed it, I'm gonna try this one more time. I wanted to show y'all something. I don't know if I can get it before. And I'm looking at it. I'm trying to see. Okay, I see now. Let me see. Just hold tight. Hold tight. I'm looking through now. I'm trying to show y'all something. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. Let's see. Hold tight. I'm trying to pop a willy. You know, I don't do this every day, guys. It's not showing, is it? No. Now if I there you go. Okay, I did one. Now that's from yesterday in the rack room. And see, I know y'all can't hold me back. And we have another one. Let's see. I'm gonna get y'all. And that is Sandra with the new incoming superintendent of Sheldon ISD, Mr. McCall. And Mr. McCall, this is the ribbon cutting ceremony from the going into the rack room, the random act of kindness room, which was on the campus of C.E. King Middle School. This is the classroom. This is the hallway. The cheerleaders gave a big pep rally, and the hallway, it was crunk. All right? And the kids were thrilled to go up in there. This is another one. This is inside that rack room, right? And some of the goodies that these kids would be able to go and get based on their merit. There's some of the sneakers on the wall. Of course, you see some of those Nikes were courtesy of Houston Hoops. Came and gave those Under Armours right there were courtesy of Aaron Harrison and the Houston Defenders program. Right? They came and gave as well. JL3, John Lucas, gave some floor seats to the Houston Rockets, or down low seats, lower bowl seats for the Rockets. Houston Hoops also gave t-shirts. You see some old Nikes in the background on there as well. Those are just some of the pictures, guys, from the event this past weekend. I was trying to see if I had one with all of the pictures on the wall. I mean, all of the sneakers on the wall. And also, last but not least, don't forget we have that's Herb Gray on the left. He's the CEO of Life Enhancement Services, and that's Trevor Dennis with the Random Act of Kindness Award. That's a backpack in the middle from Aaron Harrison, Houston Defenders. They donated. You see the wall behind them. That whole classroom was tricked out, painted. They have backpacks behind them and t-shirts, racks, and all that stuff. They put new carpet in, new furniture in, painted all of the room. And so if anybody out there have items, especially on the girls' side, Trey Phillips, you want to donate one item, it has to be brand new with tag on it. For the rack room, let me know. Send an email or a text message to me, Chop Shop Htx at gmail.com. Chop Shop Htx at gmail.com. You guys, but right, I'll give you guys, show you a video next week. I had a video that I made, and in that video was of the kids walking into the room. So anyway, let's see. How do we get? Let me get these things up off of here so I can get my face back there, so you can. I'm just learning as you guys see all the pictures, and there we go. And so now, thanks a bunch, guys. Once again, now we can get up out of here. I just want you guys to see some of that. If you're interested in rack rooms, this is the 6th school around Houston that they done, and it's a great concept. It gives self-esteem. Just saw those kids are just walking down the hallways, man. It was unbelievable. They are loving this stuff. It's going to start in the summer school, and it'll be really, really ready when they blast off and come back to school in August. But thanks everybody. We up out of here now. I see you guys on Monday. Peace. We up out of here, and I see you. Chop Shop.
Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah.